Hi, I'm Lars. Welcome back to the shop. Today is the first day that I'm going to start working, going to do my first weld. And this is more or less the documentation of that. But I want to tell anyone that's who's starting to reach out to get into welding what you kind of need. First thing you need is a welder. Alright. I'm going to turn this around so you guys can kind of see what I got. It's be easier for me to do. Alright, so I don't have a really big bench. So hopefully we can do this. So the first thing you need is a welder, and I picked up this welder over at Harbor Freight. I pretty much picked up everything here at Harbor Freight, but this actually it's a titanium welder. It's a stick 225. It'll run on 110 and it'll run on 240. I've got it connected to 240. It's not connected at the moment. I just ran a circuit for 240 on it, and it works, kicks on, and everybody is all happy. Not really liking the white on green. Can't read 120 or 240 real well, so I'm probably going to put a sticky on there or something. I don't know. The second thing you need is you need some sticks. Alright. Now these guys here are 7/0 and they're 1/8 inch, and the reason is because I need these for the project that I'm doing. But there are a variety of different types of sticks out there. Anywhere down from 3/32 to, I think they go to 1/4 inch, maybe. I don't know. But like I said, I need the 1/8 stick for what I'm doing. There's all different types of sticks. Do some research before you get into that. All right, so I'm gonna put this up here. My legs are hurting me. The next thing you need is you need a good pair of leather gloves. Now, this is kind of messed up because it looks like they sent me 2 left-hand gloves, so that's not going to work for me. You need an apron of some sort or some sort of protectant. All of this stuff here does is it protects you from getting hit with metal sparks and whatever and have your clothes catch on fire. If it lands on your arms, you get burned. That's where these guys come in. These are called sleeves. They're a little dirty because they're laying on the metal, but basically you put these on to cover your arms when you're not wearing a coat or something. Okay, and in the summer, you might understand this is going to get pretty hot, but this will at least protect my arms. All right. The apron will go over and protect it, you know, my chest and my legs and stuff, which would be good. And the gloves, if I had a right glove, this would be really cool. But the gloves go on like this, and you don't have a lot of feeling in the gloves. Okay, so don't think that whatever you're going to do to build something for your welding bench is going to be good enough to, it's got to be big, okay? Think astronaut fingers, really, like, you know, so it's got to be something big. Something else you need is you need a scribe. Now this is what's called a scribe. It's got a carbon, I don't know what it is, graphite. It's not graphite. It's a really hard piece of metal, let's just put it that way. I don't know what it's called. But it lets you scribe on a piece of metal like this. So I don't know if you can see that, but I put 2 lines here. There's a couple lines here, right here and right here, because I'm going to try to scribe one, like weld a straight line, because that's what I need to do. The next thing you need is a helmet. I picked up this Vulcan helmet. I'm actually a member of Harbor Freight, so the inside of this is really cool. This is a really big screen. It's one of the biggest screens. I think it might be the biggest screen that you can see. That technology in this helmet allows everything to be very clear. It's more bluish in real colors instead of just green or black like the other helmets of prior days. Guy on the internet who does Tim Welds, he said make sure you get extra gloves, and I'm glad I did because I got 2 left-handed gloves with the apron, which I'm going to have to bring those back to Harbor Freight. But one reason he said is your hands are going to get really sweaty. Alright, these are supposed to be one size fit all. I never believed that. But he said your hands will get really sweaty in them, and if they get too sweaty, you could actually arc through the glove. and get electrocuted. He gives a really good example. I'm not going to go through it here. If you guys really want, it's TW. It's on YouTube. It's called Tim Welds. I don't know what I'll put it in the link below. But like he actually does a really good job of teaching. From what I got out of all the videos I've seen of him, he's been welding since he's been 12 years old. So that's a pretty long time. Now, the information I found online, these have different, this is an auto shade, okay? So like when it kicks on and a spark hits, it will start to shade. Now what that means, and I'm gonna see if I can do this, is this. So if you're looking inside, looking through this, and it sparks, see how it gets, I don't know if you can see if it gets really dark. When it sees a spark, when there's 4 sensors in here, 2 at the bottom, 2 at the top, when a spark happens in 1/25,000th seconds of a 1/25,000th of a second, it'll darken. So that's really quick. Your eyes can't even like your eyes will not get hurt. So this is why I got this one. It's kind of the same as a Miller, but it's only, I think this one here was $169 right now, and I had a couple coupons, so I ended up with it for $127, which is not too bad. We'll see how it works. It got really good reviews on the internet, and I don't know what model number it is, but like I said, it's a 13 square inch, whichever that is, because I thought, I can see more, maybe it might help. So today, the only thing I want to do is I want to get this thing set up and test it out to make sure it works. But I had a big piece of 1/4 inch metal here. Let me show you that. See this here? It's a big 1/4 inch piece of metal. This is I think a 1/2 inch. But I can't really weld on plastic. So I put a piece of wood as an insulator, and I'm going to lay this on top of here, and that should bring the current through it. And I'm grounding off in the back of that piece of metal back here. It's the ground, the other negative. So the way a welder works is you complete a circuit. So one's grounded off, and then this guy here has the current going through it. And when these two come together, this arcs. And you want to keep that arc. You don't want to jam it down in there, and you just want to leave it setting on top, just a little bit distance away. I don't know that distance right now. Okay, otherwise I would tell you. I'd say it's got to be a 1/16th of away or 1/8 inch away. So I got to figure out what that is. And then this thing here eats as you weld. So keeping that distance for people, from what I understand, is pretty difficult. That's why you get people who are bad welders and are good welders, because they can't really, judge that distance. Because you're going to start out, up here, holding this in your hand, like this, and you're going to be up here trying to hold it. So it's kind of hard to keep this distance. Eventually you'll get down about this point, and then you'll drop that off and put another stick in it. So that is about all I know. Okay, now I do know there's a weld pool, and this helmet I'm hoping will allow me to see the weld pool, and you just kind of move your stick along in front of the weld pool and keeping that pool from bubbling over and splattering it over or getting too small. That's all I know. The more I do the welding and stuff, the more I'll learn, and I may have another video saying, hey, this is an instructional how to weld. I don't know. But I'm really excited about getting into welding. My father-in-law used to be a welder, used to be a pipe fitter in Newark, Ohio. Licking County, I should say. But he welded all over the place. Welded a Honda and a lot of other places. He probably would have taught me how to weld, but by the time I met him, he was kind of done welding. He showed me a little bit about welding, and I've seen him weld, or I saw him weld, but in fact, we welded this here on my bucket, these guys here. We put a weld up here, and they've been holding really well. And we also put some hooks on the front of my bucket of my John Deere tractor, which are super good use. They're super useful. You can put something in your tractor and strap something on real quick and easy. Highly recommend. So like I said, I've seen him weld. We've got a couple other things that he came out and welded here. but I never actually did any welding with them, and I kind of miss that. I kind of wish I would have. So this is not really a tribute to Bob, but it is kind of cool that I'm learning a trade, or I'm going to try to learn a trade that he used to know. So from my father's side, I learned all about woodworking. Okay, my dad built houses when I was younger, and I learned a lot about that. My uncle taught me a lot about CNC machines and CNC machining, and I worked there for a while, and we did, you know, metal work. But now I'm doing woodwork with the Onefinity, and now I'm going to start doing some welding. So that kind of, like, you know, completes the trio, the triangle, if you will. So yeah, I'm really excited about learning this. My wife also has a lot of ideas for some stuff if I get good at welding, and the main reason we're doing this is because we're putting a fence up in another set of videos that we're putting together about putting a concrete porch on the back of a house, of our house, and those videos will be coming out here in the next week or so. They'll start coming out, and I've got to weld a bracket that we can mount into our deck with a post, so we can slide these tubes over top, because the tubes that they have they're like a 1/16 of an inch thick, maybe somewhere between a 1/16 and an 1/8, you know, like 3/32 or something like that. So these are 1/4 inch or 3/16 inch thick, 1 3/4 tubes, and I'll get into that once I start getting that weld done. That may be like a month from now. So let me test this out, and let's see what we do, how I do. Okay, so I was about to get ready to weld and everything, and if you remember, I had 2 left-hand gloves. So this came with a kit that holds, you know, your sticks. You can hook this on the side of your belt or hook it to this apron thing. And I was about to just start welding with the apron, and I thought, well, if I weld something with the apron and then I go back and get this thing traded in, replaced, whatever you want to call it, they're going to be like, well, you've already used it, so you can't return it. So I decided to take a run over and just get it replaced while I hadn't used it yet. So it's probably been a couple hours since last time, since I turned off the video. So I'm going to try to do a little bit of welding now. Again, I'm not a welder. I've never welded in my life. So let's just see how this works. I got to get all this stuff on. So these are the sleeves that you put on. Keep your arms from getting burned. You pull them up over your arms, because what my father-in-law used to tell me, if you ever get a hot piece of slag hitting your skin, be the last thing that you ever want to do again. So I can kind of believe them. I mean, this stuff burns at, you know, 600, 800 degrees. I don't know. It's melting steel, so I don't know what the melting point of steel is. So let's just put it at that. So let's get back to what I was doing. So piece of metal, this is what I'm using to ground it off on. This is a very high piece of 1/2 inch metal. Had this come with the house when we were building our house. It was to level out our beam that goes across our house, and I'm grounding off the back here, ouch, on this piece of just scrap metal that I had laying around. So like I said, I don't know anything about welding, so let's just give this a shot. And my helmet keeps falling over on his face, and eventually it's going to be all scratched up, and I'm not going to be able to see anything, and I would not even have a minute under the gun of welding. Alright, so let's see how this works. So the first thing that I'm going to try welding is, I don't remember whose channel I was on, and I apologize about that. I'm going to put on some cheater glasses underneath my helmet so I can see everything pretty clear. First thing I'm going to try doing, what they recommend, is taking the stick and touching and releasing, just kind of spot, 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 to get used to how the stick works. So we'll see how that goes. I'm not betting this is going to be anything really great. I don't even know if this is going to be, it's going to be even bad. It just might be terrible. Okay, so they did say if you're welding, it's going to stick to the, like initially starting, it's going to stick. And sometimes you get this stuck on here, so I'm experiencing that right now. Yeah, it's sticking big time. Okay, so that's bad. I said if that happens, try to knock off that burr. Probably shouldn't have done that down there, but sandpaper or something. Alright, so that's bad. Let's kill this. Grab a cutter. I need to take a grinder to get this out of there, I don't know. Luckily not. Okay. Doesn't have to grind that back off. Alright, so we're going to try this again. We'll go up to about 120 amps this time. Figure out how I'm going to do this weld. There we go. That's not good. Alright. One thing I did notice is that if this is stuck to this, or as I'm welding, if this comes off, this starts arcing in the back. So that's probably something that Beginners need to know, because I don't know these things. Alright, so I'm going to try pumping this up a little more amperage. Okay. Okay, one thing I'm going to tell you, if you're starting welding like I am, this is not something that is going to, and I never thought it was, I'm just going to let everybody know, did not think it ever was. I don't want to get any welders yelling at me or anything, but it's something that is, just like I was saying when we first started this, I don't know if I said it, I might have been thinking it, is it takes a lot to figure out, it's a little hot, how far away to keep this from the metal once you get the spark. Okay, so that's what I'm having problems with right now, is I'm touching, I'm sparking, I'm too close, it's trying to weld this immediately instead of making what they call the weld pool, which is liquid metal. And I'm getting the point that this looks like when I make that arc and the weld pool starts, is that I need to keep this moving along and basically keep growing that weld pool. I mean, kind of makes sense. You're trying to get this into liquid form to get applied to where you want it to be. Okay, sort of like solder and a soldering iron, but this is all built into one. This is your solder and soldering iron. The difference is with a soldering iron, you're dealing with just heat. This is electrical making this melt. So I don't think what I've done is bad. I mean, I think it looks pretty good. It's not real pretty yet because, you know, I've only been doing this for, I don't know, 5-6 minutes. I will tell you, this is still hot. Okay, so there's a lot of electricity going through this, and I'm pretty sure this plate here is going to be still hot too. But as you can see, I don't think it looks too bad. I mean, if I could just keep that, you know, the pool going, maybe I'll get better at this. I don't really know. So, but I mean, I'm just kind of moving back and forth. My big thing is now it looks like crap, looks really bad, because I just can't keep that weld pool being built. So I'm going to try to run another line, because I just can't get the stick. I can't, like, spot weld pop up, spot weld pop up. I don't know why. It's like every time I touch, it just wants to weld down. One thing is, while I'm using my helmet, well, I've got the helmet on, and it's dark in here, okay? It goes dark, and then you don't get anything until you get spark. Once that spark disappears, then you can't see anything anymore, okay? But this helmet, I'm gonna tell you, is amazing for seeing what I'm doing. I'm just gonna tell you right now, the Vulcan ArcSoft, well worth the 169 bucks. And especially if you can get some track member coupons, this is pretty nice, okay? I'm pretty impressed with it. All right, so that's all I'm gonna do. I'm just wanted to do a quick opening of what I'm doing. Hopefully I'll get better at this and be able to say, hey, look, here's some really cool welds that I did. The first thing that I definitely need to weld up is I've got some 1 3/4 that I've got to weld to some plates. And again, remember, the reason that I started doing this welding is to do that project so we can finish up the porch wall, which you'll be seeing that video here, or you might have already seen it. I don't know if it's coming out before this or after this video. But that's what I'm trying to do now, and then that video, when the wall comes up, will definitely be later. If you like the video, if you just want to laugh, comment, give me some hints, I don't care. Please, someone write something down or say, try this, look at these people's videos. You just need experience. I don't know what it is. But thanks for coming to the shop, and as always, have a nice day.